Hello and welcome to this demonstration for the TrackerMate app for the Android platform. Now I'm going to start out by explaining an overview of this app and what it's actually for and who it actually targets. This app is basically aimed at small backstreet courier firms or taxicab firms, pizza delivery companies, anyone that basically can't really afford developers for a private asset tracking app. So this is a bit like a public version of Uber, but a much cheaper version. Now what this does, obviously you can track a device, which is what it's for. It's an asset tracking app. But you can actually use it to track any Android device for any purpose. You don't actually need to use it for asset tracking in particular. To track one device is free. To be tracked by as many devices as you want is free. But to actually track more than one device is actually a premium feature. So as well as asset tracking, this application also has a feature where I can actually keep a log of your day-to-day journey. So I'm going to start out by demonstrating that. I'm going to click out Start Tracking. Okay, so as soon as you click that, the application starts storing latitude and longitude points, which can be later on viewed on a map. Now the distance between those points can actually be adjusted by clicking the settings here. And that's quite self-explanatory, 50 meters up to 1 kilometer or start and end of journey. So go like that. So we'll click on Stop Tracking now. That's now stored a route. I'm going to click on Show Routes because there's only one route. That will go straight to the route there. Again, full screen rotation is supported, and that's the location of the route we actually just stored. It's only 2 points there because obviously we haven't actually moved around. So close that down. I'm now going to click Start Tracking again to demonstrate that you can actually close the app down and leave that running in the background, and it's perfectly stable. You can even force close the app and the service will still actually run in the background. So I'll come back to this app here, and as you can see it's still tracking. Click the Stop Tracking. Now got a second route. Now because there's more than one route, when I click Show Route, a little list will come up. I'll click on the first route. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to give a route a friendly name. So click up this top button here. We'll type in, say, hello world, like so, and then click close, and as you can see that's given a friendly label, and again full screen rotation is actually supported from there. So I'm now going to demonstrate how you actually track devices. First we're going to start out by clicking the grant button. This is the way you actually grant permission for someone to track your device. So just go like that. It's quite simple. Then you don't enter in the name of the person that's going to be tracking you. I'm just going to put in the name of the phone for the time being. This is my Galaxy S5 phone, like that. Click done and you'll see a code there. So all you need to do, whoever's going to be tracking you would give this code to them. They would actually click on the accept button, enter the code, and they will then be tracking this device. So I'm actually going to pause this video now, go over to my Samsung Galaxy S5 and show you how you actually accept the tracking permission. Okay, now continuing the video on my Samsung Galaxy S5, I'm now going to accept the previous permission by clicking that there. I'm now going to enter the code, which we saw in the previous section of the video, and enter a friendly name of the device that I'm going to be tracking, which is actually going to be my Galaxy A5 2017 model, like so. As you can see, success, you are now tracking Galaxy A5 2017. Now for the purposes of explaining what the track device button does and the track by list, I'm now going to repeat this process again. I'm actually going to grant permission for the A5 phone to track this device. So repeat the process again. We'll go grant. We'll enter the name that I'm being tracked by, which is the Galaxy A5 2017 model. Click OK. So I'm now going to continue this video on my Samsung Galaxy A5 model. Okay, now continuing the video on my A5 phone, we're going to accept that permission there. Again, successful, now tracking Galaxy S5. So now I'm going to show you what the other buttons do now. I'm going to click on Track Device, and as you can see, Galaxy S5 has come up in the list there. So I'll click on that button, and that will actually show me the location of that device, which it shows there. And again, when you're tracking devices, full screen rotation is actually supported again. So click close there. Now there's a little feature here if you click Disable Tracking. Now this feature is actually if you're actually a premium user. For example, if you're tracking more than one device, more than one list will show up there. So for example, if you only want to track a certain number of devices, clicking disable that will actually prevent you from tracking that device. So for example, if I click this button now, it won't actually show me the location of the device, and that's actually by design. So I'll actually enable that and go to track device, and again that will actually show up again, as you can see there. Now I'm going to actually click on the tracked by list, and this shows all of the devices that I'm being tracked by at the moment. As you can see, Galaxy S5 is actually tracing me there at the top. I can revoke that permission if I want to. Now, what I'm actually going to do here, you can't actually see what I'm doing at the moment, but on my other device, I'm actually going to go into the app, and I'm actually going to revoke permission. So I'm clicking on the tracked by list on the S5 at the moment. I'm now going to click revoke tracking permission. So what's going to happen now is when I go to track device, if I try to track the Galaxy S5, it's going to show me the North Pole basically, so it's not there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going back to the S5 device now. I'm clicking on tracked by list again. I'm now going to click the grant tracking permission button, and what will actually happen within 5 seconds of me clicking that, this map will actually show up. So I'm clicking it now. Within 5 seconds, that map will actually show up. Here it goes. There we go. The map's actually come up. So you can actually toggle things on and off. So just to review that, for example, on the tracked by list, click revoke tracking. That means you will no longer be able to be tracked by that device. If you click one of the buttons that says remove from being tracked, that will actually remove you from the list altogether. And if you want to be tracked by them again, you have to go through the same grant and accept process. So that's basically a summary of how this application works and what it can actually do. The application is actually open-ended for white labeling. So if any of you guys want premium features or you want your own private app, I can actually white label this app for you, which actually be a lot cheaper than making an app from scratch. So also, or if you want a premium service, all you need to do is contact the developer at warwickwestonwright@gmail.com. That email will actually be written in text at the end of this video, so you can actually write it down and pause the video. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope to hear from you soon with some premium feature requests.